What's up and welcome to another episode of Musk Clank, your place to get all of the Clankerverse news and info and good stuff. And guess what? Today's a boys episode, so it's just me and Proxy, old Jack and Proxy, but Jack Wyldes, not Jack Dish. They're the actual people who run Clanker. Anyways, Musk Clank is, this is a simple episode. It's only like 30 minutes long. Hope you enjoy it. Check it out. Make sure to mint on pods or collect on pods. Or if you don't like it, comment. Cool mustache. Very based. Support your local Clankers. And stay safe out there. Because shit's crazy. Dude. Tariffs are crazy. Things are going crazy. You being in New York for a month, that's super exciting, though. And but I think it's time that we talk a little bit about Clanker and some things going on. You want to look at the charts?
Oh, please, no, I don't want to look at the charts, but no, I'm happy to look at the charts. Do you know what I want to look at? Let's look at a different kind of chart. I want to look at Checkr. I want to look at Checkr.
Checkr is a positive vibe.
Let me say why. Like, I think that price matters. I hate when I post about price and people are like, oh, like founder posting about price, that's bearish. It's like, dude, my users care about price. I care about price. Our team cares about price. Like, this shit does matter. We're in the business of number go up. When number doesn't go up, it very much matters. But this matters too. And this is different from price. And I think it's worth talking about. So just for a little context, Checkr is a project built not just on Clanker, but kind of the idea was definitely born out of the emergence of Clanker. This guy Tamu, who is a great guy, I mostly just have interacted with him on the Farcaster feed. We've talked a lot about like this kind of social DEX concept that I've been playing with for like a year or something. And after Clanker launched, Tamu started building this. It basically tracks like cast. So a cast is a post on Farcaster. It tracks post engagement for coins. And so as you can see, most of these are Clankers, but there's also other coins like DGen is just like its own, coin and ecosystem, higher, MFR. And so you can see like basically what kind of engagement are you getting? How many users are engaging with your posts? What's the market cap of the combined coins that people are talking about? And I think it's a really amazing example of like how Farcaster gives you this really rich social data that can introduce basically like a whole new way of trading.
Yeah, I think this is super awesome, and I do think it is important to remember it's in the beta right now. There's no X. This is only on Warpcast, right? So this is You're only getting so much data, but it's really, really interesting, and the fact that you can see outside. Okay, all right, MFR is surprising that on Warpcast it's so big, but that's just because the MFers have kind of started to, they really have built a community on Warpcast. But if you look, it's DGen higher, and then everything else is Clankers, basically. Yeah. So you can really see that, like, Clanker is such a Warpcast native platform. It was Warpcast first, and people on Warpcast have adopted it so much, and it is really cool. I also love the graph where you can see like who's been casting about it, who's talking about it, and kind of check things like that. It's really awesome. I like this site a lot.
Some days I'll just go into the Clanker chart. Why don't you click on Clanker? By the way, top performer last 24 hours, which I love to see. So this shows cast activity. For one, this tells me that like there's been a general drop off in cast activity. So even though we're doing pretty well in terms of cast activity, the market has gone down, right? And we all know that that's true. But what I'll do is I'll click in on, can you click on those? Mm-hmm. So I'll go and then I'll just send this person some Clanker. And usually it's just a little bit, but it's a little bit like, it's a way that I can find who's posting about Clanker. How do I support them, kind of foster that loyalty and interest? And it's like this data is incredibly valuable in so many ways. It shows the top people who've posted about Clanker. Do you know what's amazing to me about this is I'm not even number one. I'm number 2. Tamu has posted more about Clanker than I have.
Wow.
Basel is like one of the classic think boys of Farcaster, always sharing really good, thoughtful criticism and ideas around tokens. Jakob works at Social Graph Ventures and 1KX. He's in kind of the VC world. We talk a lot. Social Graph Ventures and Clanker are definitely aligned in terms of like project vibe. I have no idea. Oh, I think I know who Stuart is. I'm just not recognizing the name. If you click on his profile, though.
I also enjoy that it shows the holdings.
Yep.
Based on, you can kind of see, like, obviously people can have other wallets, but you can kind of see, okay, is this guy bull posting like crazy because he's just a huge bag holder? Or is this like a person who is like, doesn't, he's just holding an amount, sure, but it believes in the product,
Well, I think it's also important because it's like, that is a wallet that, like, I mean, most of my Clanker is not in that wallet, but
right.
I like to keep some in there because A, I buy Clanker frequently. Mm-hmm. B, I want people to know that I'm a holder, that I'm not, it's like skin in the game. And so there's the negative side of it, of like shilling your bag, but then there's the positive side of like, oh, this person isn't just talking out of their ass. Like, they actually are subject to the price action of this coin. So that's the 30-day, the 2-week chart. Let's go to the 3-day chart. I want to see that. If you go up to the top right of the chart.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. So this
it's 14-day. Got it. Okay.
What's that spike? What happened there?
So this spike we had. So here's my question though, and I'm not really quite sure because I thought the spike goes off engagement but it's just, I guess it's just total number of casts, but then it shows you SQX had the cast with the most engagement. Is that why that person is on top?
Well, let's look at cast activity. There's a little info thing next to it. We can see what is going on. So
daily and multi-hour cast activity with engagement metrics higher, highlighting the most engaged cast. So it's okay yeah. So this is how many casts happen in that hour, and then this one had the most. Go
to attention analysis. Yeah, this is like so.
Oh, this is interesting.
Tamu is basically like iterating on new charts. This is social RSI. I'm not like a chart guy, but RSI I know is like a TradFi like way of charting. Let me look it up. RSI. Yeah, I don't even know.
Hey Siri, what's RSI?
It's the relative strength in.
Oh, she answered. Thanks, Siri. Okay.
It's a technical indicator. It's like from charting coins. And so RSI gives you, it's like a momentum oscillator. So it measures the speed and magnitude of recent price changes of a security. So here, one thing that I think is really amazing is you can see this is social RSI and engagement. So it's showing the velocity, essentially, of engagement. And now I would love to see like the velocity of engagement of Clanker for a launch day, because I bet you would be a huge spike after we share the original post, right?
Yeah.
Where Clanker launched. But yeah, I mean, Tamu is cooking. Checkr, the token itself, has been getting some attention. Oh, I love this. I love the unique users. I mean,
it's really clean dashboards too. Like everything about the site is really, really clean. Is there, I mean, I'm assuming, is there a way, I'm just guessing the API for Twitter is just insane, right? So is there a way for him to get this information from X?
Yes, there is. I mean, other projects have done this, like Kato. I think that the hard part here is that Twitter's API is expensive.
It's like super expensive, right?
I think it's like $5,000 a month for one of the more basic plans. Like that's like a pretty low tier of.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is one of the like reasons to build on Farcaster is that this data is literally free. You can get it from a bunch of sources. I think like you have to pay a Nanar subscription or a Dune Analytics subscription. Dune gets their data from Nanar. But there are lots of places to get this data. You can also just query literally like the blockchain. You can go on and find like the Clanker contract and then find the addresses of all the holders and then figure out who has a Farcaster account connected to one of those addresses. So, one of the first things we did with Clanker is we put the deployer address and username on chain, on the tokens themselves. And I think that like social provenance really matters, and we're going to see a lot more of this.
Yeah, that was a good call. I think that helps. Yeah, this site is really cool. I dig what's going on here. It is a really good way to, you can get a sense when you're online. You feel like, I feel like everybody's, but the feed can lie to you. The feed can just feedback loop and show you what's actually happening. You might not understand a bigger picture, and this is such a great way to understand.
A lie.
Yeah, exactly.
The feed is a lie. It's an algorithm that's presenting something to you that like it thinks you want to see. So it's going to confirm your biases. It's going to never challenge your kind of preconceived notions. It's really important not to simply go to that single source. Let's look at indexy, because one thing I noticed here is that Callow had a big spike. Go to the indexy website. So that's reserve. We'll talk about that after, but I just noticed this launch, and I think this is interesting too, because basically what we're seeing is the emergence of accounts on social media that are proliferating some kind of signal about coins. And a perfect example of this is like Emily Jr. and DRB. DRB, this debt relief bot token launched by Grok and Bankr on X. It doesn't have a team. There's no team, right? There's no team spreading that signal. But M. Lee has been spreading that signal.
Oh my
He's been telling the story. And I had a call with him the other night, actually right after me and you talked. And you know what he told me is he's been trying to get enough engagement to monetize his Twitter account for like a year, for a really long time. And DRB, posting about DRB, he got it within a week. He got the amount of engagement he needed.
Yeah, you learn more about that on our the last Musk Clank, where I interview him, and it's pretty interesting. It's crazy that he hit that in 1 week by just talking about something that had a better mind share, like a bigger thing.
Doing it like really transparently too, just like telling a story. Yeah. So indexy, the reason I bring this up is like this is like another extension of the same idea. It's basically any user can go and create an index of their favorite coins, and then you can track their performance. The reason I noticed this is someone posted about it and shared that Clanker was one of the top performing indexes. I have no idea what fract art is, but one thing I would just note is that the market cap of that index is 4.6K. Yeah. Whereas all of the other indexes have much higher market caps. And so the Clanker index, it's mostly actually pretty OG Clankers. I wonder if they've even integrated our like more recent contracts. You don't need to log in, but like we've seen this a bunch. If you go to Reserve, Reserve also created a Clanker index, and for a long time before basically this most recent market kind of action, Clanker was the #1 index across Base and Ethereum for like over a month. And just a little alpha for all Musk Clank listeners. I heard a rumor recently that the Clanker index on Reserve might get listed on a centralized exchange. Now, I don't know if this is true. I don't know exactly what it entails, but it basically means that this like liquid index token, it's a tokenized index. So you buy one token and you're buying a little bit of Bracky, a little bit of Native, a little bit of Dickbutt, a little bit of Clanker and based Fartcoin. Like that token will itself potentially be on a centralized exchange, which would be massive for our ecosystem and just so cool. Um, and yeah, I think like Checkr and stuff like user generated indexes, they're definitely kind of this wave of the future that we're starting to see emerge in crypto.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, hey, I bought some of this the moment I saw, and you know, you get a little back. You get things back as you're going. Like I've claimed,
Yeah, man.
you know, quite a few fees from this index. Not,
Oh,
you
hell
know, and
yeah.
I don't even have that much, but enough that it's like, oh, that's a nice little surprise. You know,
Nice.
so,
I didn't even
very
know
cool.
about that. You know, I think that what I like about it is that like people often complain about people shilling coins. You know, my job is basically to shill projects
Yeah.
that I think are genuinely good. All of these projects, literally every one, I might say, with the exception, I don't want to talk about exceptions to this, but basically everything I know about all of these projects is that they're pretty legit. I think there are a couple that probably should be bumped out in favor of newer clankers. I'll
Yeah.
probably reach out to RE7 Labs and say, hey guys, like DRB has been higher than 99% of these. What's going on? Why isn't it on the list? You know, it's DRB is higher than everything but the top 3 here. It should
Yeah.
definitely get added. But also, I really like that. You know, people can come and get exposure to the general ecosystem in a single click. I
Yes.
love also that 40% of it is composed of Clanker because I'm obviously biased, but I think Clanker's a great buy at these prices.
It's pretty heavily weighted in Fartcoin as well, which, you know, that's great. But like I like the banker, the bracky,
You know,
and
man.
I agree. DRB, man, DRB would be a good one.
Well, let me just say this. I don't compose the weighting here. It's meant to, the intention is that it's just a pretty objective like weighting based on market cap.
Right.
I think the reality is that it's also a bit curated. Thing about base Fartcoin is that of all of the clankers, it has held a high value extremely well over time. Those dudes like have done an amazing job. I'm very proud of them, happy for them. I think that everyone should own some base Fartcoin. There's no Cabal, no Telegram, just blue farts.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. In fact, I had this pulled up earlier, but I wanted to just look at the top 10, which is one of my favorite things to do. If you don't do this, especially when Musk was up here, I wanted like a badge for like how long I could stay on the top 10 page.
Yeah.
On the like, I think it's such a fun thing. Clank.fun. Make sure to check it out, and it's a great place to keep, you know, in one spot. Look at all of the different clankers coming out, and the top page is really fun, really quick, easy to digest. But Fartcoin has been up here for so long. If there was, you know, a badge of honor, that Fartcoin's been up there for a long time. Native's been up there for a long time.
Yep.
And then obviously Clanker and Clank Fun itself. But also Dickbutt is held pretty, I mean, not as strong as it would. Didn't Dickbutt get up to like 20 million at one point?
Dude, Dickbutt, though, gets strong volume. I
Yeah.
actually have been noticing recently increased volume on Dickbutt. I'm kind of considering like reallocating heavily into Dickbutt. I love Dickbutt. I love those guys. That's how I got introduced to all the MFers, who are like some of our most die-hard, ride or die community members now. Native, dude. Native is just like objectively undervalued. The
Right
revenue
now, for
potential for Native. I think that here's the thing: is like it's an agentic gaming project, and one thing that Derek has been exploring is basically like agents launching their own coins. And then there being like these kind of hyper casual coins. What I really want to see is like agents start growing their own businesses around coins. And we're working with a couple of guys who are building like pretty crazy agent tech. And I'm going to connect Derek with this one guy who's like, I can't really talk about it yet, but basically any project that is a Clanker interface, and this is from like Bankr to Native to Clank Fun to Bolide to A0X to Loomlight, which is like going to have agent launchpad live soon on Clanker. It's like if they can differentiate their launchpad in the market and make for a really good experience, their revenue potential is really high. So I always tell people, look for those coins, because that's something that you can like track openly, you can see, and it can give you an idea of whether this coin will actually be anything in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think, just on native real fast, I think that native, sometimes it's like so many people believe in Derek as a builder and know what he ships is great. But I do think that native, it's almost like too high signal sometimes.
Yeah,
it's like there is
yeah.
a lot to it. But once you get into it, once you start digging in, it's like, wow, there's so much here to enjoy. It's just that initial, it's getting over that first hurdle of there's a lot to understand. There's a lot
Native's
that goes
a little
into this.
complicated. Native's a little complicated. But here's the thing I'll say is like, Derek reached out to me after building native. First of all, he didn't ask for shit when he launched, which I love. I love when someone just launches and like gets that first initial traction on their own, because it's high signal for me as like a Clanker founder. There's so many examples of like other projects that want to be handheld through that whole process, and I don't mind doing that. Let me be clear. It's just high signal when someone doesn't need that. And Derek launched, we started talking, and I realized like this dude has built very meaningful startups in the past. He has real experience.
Yeah.
All throughout Clank hack, he was on the phone with VCs who were like trying to get him to abandon the native token and like, you know, take all this money and do it their way. And he was like, fuck no, like I'm building on native. So I really back Derek. I think he's a Chad. I think that like,
Agree.
He is a solo founder, solo dev, who's basically working on this. I think he's brought in one guy to help a little bit now, but like, I'm very excited to see what comes there.
Also, just all around good person. If you know, and I back people more than anything. I just think that's the type of person that's the type of person I'd back. Like that, I think that no matter what, it's going to keep native strong, because he's just working hard and is a good person that's trying to make something really, really awesome.
That dude will show up. He'll show up like in 2 weeks, you know? Sorry, my
he's
whole
not going
screen
anywhere.
just went black. He's not going anywhere. He'll show up and he'll work hard. So yeah. Anyway.
What I want to kind of segue that into something real fast. I wanted to talk to you about this because I haven't actually got to talk about this. But native, going from something that is kind of hard to understand, maybe for the average person, but to go into something that's extremely easy to understand, and that's Bankr. Bankr solves so many issues, and I think might be the most like you just do this and it works type coin that's also driving a lot of volume on Clanker right now, right? I mean, how's that been recently? I want to talk about some of the new Bankr systems and like especially the reply, creating a Clanker in a reply through Bankr. That's kind of confusing. There's so much unlocked potential there that I went on a 20-minute rant about it, and I have so many thoughts. But what's it been like? How's the launch gone out since Bankr Club? How do you feel about Bankr Clanker partnership right now?
You know, I always try to stay out of projects like stuff like Bankr Club, just because like I don't want to have some kind of like influence on the decisions that projects make around growth. Like I think I'll leave that to Deployer to discuss. I trust that team. I really, you know, those are people I consider like we came up together. I learned Deployer was one of the first people that I started looking at closely when I joined Farcaster. I was like, oh, I like how this guy is building. So he's been like an inspiration for me. I try not to tell him what to do. It's been significant. I think like Bankr is really like proving out a very like risky thesis that Clanker had early on. So one thing that happened after Clanker launched is all these people came to us and were like, can we build on Clanker? And we were like, oh, we thought we were building an app for users. Like, I guess yes. The answer is yes, but like we're not really ready. So we quickly started just focusing like almost entirely on empowering people to do this. And I want to clarify one thing. I feel like people sometimes criticize me for talking about competitors. But one thing that you have to realize is that Clanker's core business model has been forked so many times, and oftentimes by like low quality extractive projects that will pop up, try to make a little money, and then disappear. And meanwhile, we've made a bunch of product decisions that are fully geared around like making it possible for teams to meaningfully build around Clanker. From like taking less fees to just spending dev time. Last night, our team was discussing a project, and one of the things is like they want to do something on Clanker, but in order for us to like allow them to do it, we would need their contracts to be audited. Contract audits can cost like 20 to 30 grand. A lot of builders can't afford that. No. So like we were talking about like, should we pay for this? Like, is that something that's worthwhile? And it's just like, I don't know. If I'm talking about a competitor, it probably means that in some way I kind of think they're doing it in a slightly selfish manner. I think that there's a lot of ways that base can come together and win. And, Bankr x Clanker is like the example of it. And so I'll fucking back those guys till the end because they've chosen a different way of going about it. They're doing it with us. We talk about the kind of markets that we're creating. We talk about how to make users successful. Let me pull up the Bankr interface tracker. Okay, dude, okay, so this is the Bankr interface analytics dashboard. By the way, we're releasing an interface dashboard for every single project building on Clanker. Everyone will be able to have this. I think that this is like an amazing example of the power of building on Clanker. First of all, there have been fucking 85,000 coins deployed on Bankr, which means that Bankr is getting significant attention.
Yeah.
Secondly, the platform fees generated for Bankr at time of claim, let me just caveat that. It's always like, this is includes the token price at time of claim, have been over $3.3 million. That's so significant. People have no idea how significant that revenue is for a project that has not raised. And most of that, let's be clear, most of that has really come from a couple of the largest coins. You can see here, probably just these coins you see are where most of the interface revenue has come from. Especially DRB has been extremely significant. In 20 days, or however, no, that was 12 days ago. I should update this. So all this data is a little bit out of date. But, that's been incredibly significant. It's done a huge amount of volume. Anyway.
What's the total number of Clankers clanked now? 85,000 through Bankr.
It's over 200K. One thing I would say about...
Do you remember we hit 50K on our first episode?
That's crazy. Listen, I actually number of tokens clanked is not a number I care about personally. And the reason
it's still interesting though. It's just interesting, that it's grown. Bankr has really launched a bunch.
Bankr has launched a bunch. What I'll say is that what happens is when one coin gets launched that does really well, that's 1,000% what I care about.
Right.
And in part, it's just like the revenue model. We make more money when coins do well. That's why we want them to succeed. We don't want slop. But then you get this influx of lower quality launches. Sometimes bots are doing these launches. And we really don't like that. We are trying to figure out ways to prevent those kind of value extractive launches. Luckily, the market doesn't care about them that much. And one of the reasons is because we have this provenance on chain, where we say who launched it, we link to their social profile.
Exactly. It saves you from just having the slop that gets constantly thrown out there. It saves you from the, I'm just going to say another, like the pump fund meta, that you have no clue. It's what, it's the social capital is such a huge deal in saving you from just grabbing the wrong things.
I've been thinking a lot about like what makes Clanker different from Pump Fun, and obviously there's a lot of stuff around like the fee model and the revenue, but I also think there's a huge difference around the meta. Like Pump Fun's meta, I see it constantly. It's like these coins that are somehow related to the like news of the day. So there'll be a big viral news story. Someone will launch a Pump Fun coin. It'll go up some absurd amount. And everyone knows that coin is going to die very soon. There's just like very little doubt about it. Whereas with Clanker, the top coins that we talk about, even if they maybe have gone down, from all-time highs, like there's still significant interest. People are still building very real things about them. There's a reason actually to think and look at the future of those projects. And this is like the biggest difference that I see between how Clanker views coins and how like even people like Jesse or Jacob have talked about content and coins, where I think they really want to see this proliferation of like everyone's making 1 million coins a day. I actually just want to see like one good coin launch a day. If that's all that happened on Clanker, I would be happy. And we would probably make a little bit less money but that's actually good. Like I don't want people to spend their money on coins that don't have a reason to last into the future. It doesn't mean I don't want to support content creators. I 100% do, and it's something I think about a lot. But I love that like Bankr, I feel zero shame talking about Bankr or Clanker.
No, you should.
Because these are coins. I just like know there are teams behind them. They're building. They're doing something. They're not going to run away. They're not going to cash out. It's just, that's what it is. And like that to me is really important.
Before we have to go, I want to get your take on something real quick with Bankr, okay? So let me share this real quick just so everybody knows. It's the thing that I was talking about. Bankr is this is a way I think Bankr is combating. Well, there was a problem. Somebody would launch it. Somebody would cast something big. Somebody would tweet or cast or post or whatever, something that got a lot of attention. In the comments, everybody would just start trying to launch that thing. It was like the quickest. Who could launch the first Clanker based on, because they can't get the attention themselves necessarily, or it's got enough attention that they can jump on a trend. That's all good and fun. Now, 50% of that Clanker is going to the person who made the original cast. So whatever you replied, if you start clanking in people's replies, you're actually helping that person. You can't just vampire attack good posts. Now you're like, hey, I think this is worth doing. But there's another, which is great. I think that's awesome. What about this though? Is there a way to use this for good? Is this not a crazy onboarding mechanism as well? Like, let's say in a sense of like a charity thing. Maybe there's a charity or a person that I would really, really like to support. They're not even on chain yet, but I could go to one of their top posts that maybe explains what they're doing. And if I am a person who has some sweat, let's say board Elon Musk or somebody who has a good pool, or Jesse or somebody, they could go create a token underneath their thing, under a cast. People might hype to it. You're saying, hey, look, this is literally going for them to pull this out. But at the same time, it's not like they're just collecting ETH fees as well. I just want to like clarify what the product is here. So basically, there was a trend where we were seeing people
stealing ideas, essentially stealing posts and clanking them. And we didn't like that. So Jesse actually put me and Deployer in a chat, and he said, how can we build a product around, basically, if you reply to an original post, some of the fees go to the original deployer, some of the fees go to you. And it's taking this kind of thing that happens in crypto all the time, which is someone steals an idea, makes a coin out of it, profits from that. And it rearranges the incentives so that now you can still basically do this thing the market does, which is the market likes sometimes to speculate on a name, a word, a meme, a trend, regardless of the provenance of it. And it inserts that original provenance, that history, that lineage into the value flow. And so that the original person who posted the thing can actually earn. And by earn, we're not talking about selling tokens on followers.
Exactly.
We're not talking about making your followers exit liquidity. We're talking about literally just earning ETH in tokens. So basically earning something you can sell without hurting anyone, and ownership in the thing itself. And you can do that without really doing anything at all. Now, what I have seen be powerful here is like, I have earned just a little bit of ETH from people reply clanking to me. You know, we actually did not need to do anything to get this product live. As it turns out, our entire contracts, like Deployer was like, how long do you think this will take us to get live? And I went and I talked to our engineers, and they said, you know, Proxy, this is already possible with Clanker today. We scoped that out. We took it back to Deployer and said, this is what you got to do. Deployer did that. It was live. And so it took us like literally a day. We took it live. And I think that I haven't talked about it as much because I'm aware that the market is kind of trending down. There's less volume. So I want to make sure that we're focusing at least whatever distribution we have on like really high quality clanks. But in a hot market, this is exactly the kind of product that could onboard people to crypto. 1,000%.
There's so many ways that you could use this. I was thinking about it even with, remember you said, so Solana does a lot of this thing where they take a cultural pop moment or a meme, they 1,800 people make a token of it, the original creator doesn't get paid anything. If you would have gone to the Morning Routine guy when this launched, and you went to the original post of Morning Routine guy and you clanked under it, Ashton Hall, the guy who created that video, who everybody in the world made fun of, you know, and was memeing, not making fun of, but like making fun with, would have actually gotten paid for the video that went so viral. I mean, I'm sure he got paid off his 30 million views or whatever he ended up having. But that would have been such a better way at onboarding somebody, getting it, basically giving credit to somebody. And like you said, they're not earning fees to dump on everybody else. They're just earning the fees that they can set. Like, it's such a cool way. I really like it for charitable work and for finding causes that you believe in, and a good way that multiple people can both make money and also make money while supporting a charity is crazy. Like, that's never really been a thing you could do. I think this is one of the coolest things that's happened.
I always think, like, I don't want to tell people how to use our product. Like, I'll tell them how I would use it. I think that people should use this however they want to use it and be creative, but have like good intentions. Don't do it in an extractive way. Go out there and try to like make crypto relevant to more people. That is always gonna, like, if you lead with good intentions of helping people make money, helping spread crypto in a positive way, then I think this kind of thing will be received positively.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I'll say is I think this is a great example of how Clanker will continue to differentiate our product from a million other launchpads. We are starting to develop Clanker like fee mechanisms that are entirely novel. They don't exist in the market today. They are based on what we've learned from building on Uniswap v3. And these are not models that we're trying to like, extract like some huge fee from our users. But it's just saying like, okay, like here's how the coins work. Here's what typically happens with coins. How do we make these markets productive, generative for people like you who, launched a meme coin around your content? Someone like Deployer who is building a fucking product around a coin. And I think like having better features that meet the market where it's at will continue to be where we win. I kind of have to go. I have a team call and I need to quickly address something, but I just want to shout out Jack for all your amazing work on Musk Clank. Thanks for bringing to my attention the Farcon stuff. Let's sync on that. I'll text you. And, shout out to everyone in our ecosystem building through these harder moments in the market. We have so much coming for you, and we appreciate your support so much.
Yeah, dude, stay calm and build on, and clank,
Yes.
everybody. Have a good rest of your week.